Happy Camper Radio starts in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome back once again to the Happy Camper Radio Show, the only place you need to be when you're ready to talk camping. Camping is what we're about. Camping is all we talk about. My name is Skip. They call me the Happy Camper, and of course, my job is to make a happy camper out of you. The 4th of July weekend is just about upon us, and we've got an extended weekend coming up. Why? Because the 4th of July falls on a Saturday this year. And that means, of course, there's going to be a lot of folks on the road. There's going to be a lot of activity at just about every campground in the country. Do you plan on going out this weekend? We've got a lot of useful tips for you to help make your weekend experience a whole lot better. Right now, I'm going to take a walk over to our shout-out window. We've got a lot of folks we want to say hello to. First of all, to Paula Poole Freeman of Corpus Christi, Texas. The fine folks at RV Glass Directory, they like us on Facebook. To Rob Footy and Ben Landis of Los Angeles, California. They're following us on Twitter. To Stephen Bradley of Campbell River, British Columbia. Vogel Talks RVing. Kevin George of Daphne, Alabama. Great travel tips. Michael Simmons. Benny Asen, and Everything About RVing. They've added us to circles this past week on Google+. And finally, to Irma Simpson, who now subscribes to us on YouTube. Thank you, each and every one of you, for joining us and being a part of this great Happy Camper Radio family. Hey, don't forget, you can catch us online anytime at www.happycamperradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker, and add us to circles on Google+. You can now subscribe to our brand new YouTube channel, incidentally. Just go to our homepage, www.happycamperradio.com. You'll find all of our social media icons on the right-hand side of the page, and definitely take some time to browse around, take the studio tour, and see what else is there that could help benefit you this upcoming weekend if you happen to go camping on the 4th of July. Hey, the Great American Campout 2015 is now underway. It kicked off this past Thursday, June 27th. It's going to run all the way through September 7th of 2015, and you can take part in it. It's sponsored by the National Wildlife Federation, and all you have to do is make a commitment to go camping one day anytime between now and the 7th of September. Go online to happycamperradio.com. You'll find all the information right there on the homepage, a link to the National Wildlife Federation's website, including the pledge form. Just fill that out. It just takes a couple minutes to do, doesn't cost a dime. Make a commitment, and for every person who makes the commitment to go camping, the National Wildlife Federation's national sponsors are going to donate $1 to wildlife. Just before I threw the microphone switch, I went online to see how they were progressing, and so far more than 49,000 people have taken the pledge to go camping. We want to help them hit that number one goal of 100,000 campers. I've already taken the pledge. What are you waiting for? My camping trip is coming up here at the end of July, about a month away from now. I will be camping out at Georgia's Stone Mountain Park from July the 30th through August the 2nd. I'm going to be going away for 3 days, and I have already taken the pledge. That's where I am going to be camping out, and you can come join me if you like at Georgia's Stone Mountain Park if you happen to live in the metro Atlanta area, or if you're a resident of Georgia and you would like to come join me. The camping rates are very reasonable. You can find all the information at www.stonemountainpark.com. Just go to the camping website and look and see what they have to offer there. It's going to be a great weekend, and I'm going to be doing my radio show right from the campground that Saturday night. I'll be set up at the campsite. I've got some relatives that live not too far away. They're planning on coming over to join us. Hey, and incidentally, do you remember a couple weekends ago, I spoke about cooking pizza at camp? I am going to prepare the most awesome pizza at camp while I am camping away that weekend. I might even do a YouTube video to show just how I prepare my pizza and just make it piping hot, the aroma is going to be floating through the entire campground, and that might be a way to attract some listeners, some new listeners to the show over to my campsite. But anyway, I plan on being there, rain or shine, having a wonderful weekend, and there's a lot of great things you can do at Stone Mountain Park. It is a wonderful attraction, and you can take in the fireworks and laser show nightly while you are camping out there at the park. No additional cost. It runs up, I think, about $15 to get into the park. It's a one-time fee. And if you're planning on camping, when you check into the campground, they will provide you with a pass that you attach to your windshield so you can travel in and out of the park as many times as you want and not have to pay an additional fee. That's one of the benefits of camping over at Georgia Stone Mountain Park, but you got to make your reservations, and you can do that online or by giving them a call. Their website, once again, is www.stonemountainpark.com. On today's show, we're going to be talking about camping, fireworks, and the 4th of July. As I mentioned a little bit ago, the 4th of July falls on a Saturday this year. And because of that, many people are going to be taking advantage of an extended weekend, which means some people are going to be off on Friday, some people are going to be off on Monday, and some folks may take an advantage of a 4-day holiday weekend. And of course, that means there's going to be a lot of traffic on the road come Friday afternoon. So look forward to that. Many travelers are going to plan on returning home Monday, July the 6th. Do you plan on camping this weekend? I don't. I have been there. I have done that. But if you do plan on going out, nothing wrong with that at all. Just want to make sure, first of all, that you've got your camping reservations in wherever you plan on going. If you don't, you may be out of luck. But that doesn't mean you're going to roll out the entire holiday weekend. It's not going to be ruined, and you're going to be stuck inside the home watching TV while everybody else is out having fun. If by chance you find that the campgrounds that you want to make reservations at are already filled to capacity, then what you want to do is start looking to some of the more rural areas and some of the smaller campgrounds. You may have to travel a little bit, but you may find that they do have some vacancies available, and you may visit a campground you may not have even thought existed. That's the benefit of the internet today, folks, is we can go online just about any time we want, day or night, and start browsing around and start doing our research and start looking for some campgrounds that we may not even knew existed, and plan on going to visit some of them. Here's another thing you may want to consider doing too, and don't think you can't have a whole lot of fun doing it. Consider camping in your very own backyard. If by chance you live in an apartment complex or a townhome where everybody is close to everybody and you don't have a whole lot of backyard space, then see if some of your friends and family will be interested in holding a backyard campout at their residence. And again, you can invite family, friends, and acquaintances, and you can have just as much fun there with your family as you would if you had been at a public or private campground. The whole key here, folks, is to get out and have fun. But if you haven't already made your reservation and it's one of these last-minute things that you would like to go camping, you may want to consider in future years around the holiday season, when it's good camping weather like the 4th, is to make your reservations about 3 months in advance. That's the best thing you can do. You know, most places, if something comes up, you had to cancel your reservations and you give them plenty of notice, chances are you can go ahead and do that, and it's not going to cost you really anything. But, you know, if it's one of these last-minute things, well, it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to come. I know I'm supposed to show up at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Well, you may end up forfeiting a day. That does happen, and it's very understandable, too. But I like to try to make my reservations when I'm going away as far in advance as I possibly can. If you plan on traveling, let me give you some travel tips here, all right? The last thing you want to do anytime that you go camping, I don't care if it's a holiday season or not. You don't want to stress yourself out. And it can very easily happen, my friends. If you plan on camping and you're going to be going out at the last moment, you're going to be doing your last minute running around, you've got to get gas in the car, you've got to do your grocery shopping, you got to gather everybody together, you got to pull out all of your gear, and you're rushing to get out on the road, you're going to stress yourself out. That is the last thing, my friends, you want to do. It's so very important to plan ahead and to get an early start, especially if you're coming out this weekend to go camping. The roads are going to be very busy come Friday afternoon. I would imagine somewhere around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Take, for example, the area that I live in. We live on the outskirts of Metro Atlanta, and there's a lot of traffic on the roads. Usually Friday it gets busy right about 4 o'clock, but you can pretty much count on this area being very congested, I want to say about 2 in the afternoon, because folks are going to hit the road, and some may not even be going camping. They may be going to a resort somewhere. They may be staying at a hotel. They may be going out of town to visit family, but the fact is, they've got to get there somehow, some way, and most likely it's going to be on the road. Even if they have to travel from home to the airport, they've got to get there, and you can very easily get caught up in traffic. You don't want to do that. So plan on getting a very early start. I would begin by calling the campground and find out when is the earliest they will allow you to arrive to your site to get set up, and then plan your travel accordingly. This way you can get the early start on everybody, and you can get there, you can get set up. You'll have plenty of time to kick off your weekend, relax. If you got one of those camping recliners like I've got, kick back in it, get your campfire set up. You can start planning dinner early, and you won't have any stress to deal with at all. But if you do wait till the last moment, you're going to get caught up in all the mess that's out on the road. And again, when you stress yourself out, bad things can happen. Here's another thing I want to stress to each and every one of you, and I've talked about this before, my friends. In fact, I'm probably going to do an episode on this subject matter before the summer is out, because it's so important, and it's something I think about quite a bit anytime I go camping and when I'm out on the roads. It's so very important no matter what time of the day you leave. You've got to obey all traffic laws. Beware of speed traps, especially this weekend in some of those rural areas. Folks, this is nothing but a big moneymaker to a lot of small municipalities, to small counties, to the state, to the cities. And don't think for one moment that a lot of law enforcement officers are going to be on the road, because they are. I was a law enforcement officer for nearly 18 years. And trust me when I tell you this, when the holidays come up, when elected officials know there are going to be a lot of people on the roads, they try to get every one of their officers to cancel their off days, and in some cases they order them to cancel their off days because they want them out on the road, they want them writing tickets, and they want to do everything they possibly can to bring revenue into their cash-strapped governments. It does happen. If you're traveling on the road this weekend, don't be a bit surprised if you see officers sitting off in the shadows somewhere, hiding behind buildings, hiding behind trees. Pay very careful attention to the speed limits and do your very best to stay under them. Follow all laws to the letter, whether it's traffic laws, whether it's criminal laws, whatever the case may be. The last thing you need while you're out on the road is a speeding ticket, or a ticket for running a red light, or a ticket for running a stop sign, or coming to a stop right inside of a crosswalk. Anything that they can do to give you a ticket this weekend, they're going to do it. And folks, understand what I'm saying here. It's not the frontline officers that are causing a lot of this. Granted, you have a few young puppies out there, as I call them. I was one at one time, very, very aggressive. They want to do everything by the book. They want to do everything right. But what you're going to find in most cases, that the law enforcement officers that are sitting out in these speed trap areas don't want to be there in the first place. If they're working, chances are they want to be out patrolling. They want to be out looking for violations of the law elsewhere. They want to be out serving the public. But the problem you have here is you have some of these elected officials start looking at the coffers and saying, wow, it's getting a little thin here. We better get some money in our bank accounts. So what do? They bring the chief of police in, the person they hired to do the job. And they pull him in on the carpet and they say to him, all right, look, we need some money in the coffers this weekend, so you tell your officers to go out there and write traffic tickets. So what does the chief of police do? He's not going to say no to them. I mean, they're the ones that are paying his paycheck. He's going to go back to his officers. He's going to say, hey, all off days are canceled this weekend. It's the holiday weekend. I need everybody on board. We're going to go ahead and we're going to set up. We're going to write so many tickets. And believe me, folks, when I tell you this, out-of-towners are the easiest tickets to write. Why? Because chances are, if an out-of-town traveler gets a traffic ticket, he or she most likely is not going to return to that jurisdiction, which is most likely several hundred miles away from home, to fight a traffic ticket 2 or 3 months down the road. They're probably going to pay it and forget about it, and that's exactly what a lot of these elected officials want to see. The frontline officers who are out on the road, again, most likely don't want to be sitting in these speed traps. And when they pull somebody over, chances are they're not going to be wanting to take any heat from anybody. You know, however you treat a law enforcement officer when you get pulled over is going to greatly determine the outcome of your experience, your one-on-one experience with that officer. Be cordial. Be very friendly, be understanding. If you made a mistake, a lot of times if you come out and admit it, say, look, I'm from out of town, I'm trying to get to my destination, just be honest. The officer puts his clothes on just like you do each and every morning. That officer has feelings just like you have. He has good days, he has bad days. And sad to say, a lot of police, considering what's going on in the world today, are taking a pretty bad rap. I'm not saying that every single officer on board today is honest, that you don't have some crooked ones in there. Well, you can have every profession, line them up right now, and I'll tell you, you've got some crooks in every one of those too. But be understanding. If the officer pulls you over, chances are you know why he's pulling you over in the first place. But just be cordial. Be understanding, listen to what he has to say, and you may end up talking yourself out of a ticket. But I promise you this much, and I'm saying this because I've been there, done that. You tell the officer that he's crazy, he should not be out here writing these tickets, he should be out there catching criminals, and should be out there doing this and this and that. All right, you're begging for a ticket at that point. All right, so those are the things you do not want to do. Again, most police officers would rather be enjoying the weekend themselves somewhere, just like you are. Try to avoid getting a ticket, and the easiest way, my friends, for you to do that is to obey all traffic laws, regardless of where you are, on the interstates, on the rural roads. If you see a speed sign that says 25 miles an hour in those small communities, definitely obey those traffic laws. Stick just below the speed limit, and you're not going to run into any problems. Where you do run into problems is when you're running late. You're trying to get to your campsite, you planned on leaving a little earlier than you did, and you run into some complications, you run into some setbacks, and now you're all stressed out, and your goal, you've got tunnel vision, you're just trying to get to your campsite, and you're not paying attention to what you're doing. A traffic ticket can ruin your entire weekend. And sad to say, folks, a lot of these fines are pretty steep. It could cost you what it would cost you to stay at a campground an entire week. One ticket will do that. So definitely pay attention to what you're doing, and you're not going to have any problems at all. Now, getting there and getting set up. Okay, again, we talked about it's going to be a very busy weekend, and you want to get to your campground as early as you possibly can. And this is also going to give you a great opportunity to meet some new folks. Again, anytime that you go camping on a holiday, you can count on having some neighbors on the right and left-hand side of you. It's a great chance for you to meet some people you've never met before and have in common this great recreational activity we call camping. You can also ask your campground host about purchasing firewood when you get there too, and get your firewood purchased early. So finally, when you finish eating dinner, the sun goes down, you can fire up that campfire and just relax and forget the whole world even exists around you. That's so very important to do, folks, this weekend. Get an early start, plan ahead, and you won't have any problems whatsoever. Now, being the fact that it's the 4th of July, what goes hand in hand with the 4th of July? Fireworks. Many jurisdictions will allow the use of fireworks. However, many campgrounds are going to prohibit the use of personal fireworks at their campgrounds. While it may be legal in the state, these private and public campgrounds can set their own rules and guidelines for the safety and the comfort of each and every one of their guests. And you'll be not surprised at all to find out that many campgrounds will not allow you to bring fireworks of any form onto their campgrounds. The best thing for you to do, if you do your research ahead of time, find out where in that area there is going to be a professional firework presentation. And you want to get there early and get set up. You can bring your lawn chairs in a lot of cases. You can bring blankets and lay them out. You can bring a cooler full of refreshments and take in a very wonderful professional fireworks show. Here in Georgia, I want to say Georgia sometimes backwards in what they do, but for the very first time this year, they have legalized Class C fireworks. And if you don't know what Class C fireworks are, folks, these are the type of fireworks where you light them and they shoot up into the air. And they leave off these wonderful, beautiful displays and some big, loud bangs to go with it. Up until now, they have been illegal in this state. And why did they finally go ahead and legalize fireworks in the state of Georgia? Well, up until now, all the surrounding states around Georgia, it was legal to purchase those type of fireworks. So even though the law says, no, you couldn't have fireworks here in Georgia, many, many people would drive across the border wherever it was, and they bought their fireworks, and they brought them back here to Georgia to set them off illegally. And the police were getting called out. Some people got tickets. Some people got injured because they didn't know what they were doing, and they were just flat out being careless. But now, the state of Georgia, effective July 1st, 2015, you can purchase those type of fireworks here in the state. I have not seen any fireworks stores popping up, but I'm sure they're going to be out there come July 1st, and a lot of folks are going to be taking advantage of going inside those stores and spending several hundreds of dollars on fireworks. It'd be very interesting to see how law enforcement plans to handle all the complaints, and I know there's going to be plenty of them. But, up until now, folks could purchase their fireworks out of state and bring them back into this state illegally, and folks were doing just that for a number of years. And I guess Georgia just decided, well, it's time to go ahead and take advantage of all the taxed money that people are spending out of state and keep that money inside this state. So anyway, let's talk about fireworks safety for a little bit. I am not one who really enjoys personal fireworks. I did as a kid. I don't do it anymore. I'm not going to spend my money on fireworks just for the purpose of lighting a match and throwing them, and for my own gratification and satisfaction watching those fireworks go off. I would just rather sit somewhere and watch the big, beautiful displays. And if this sounds crazy, and maybe it has to do with age, I could watch them on TV and have just as much fun. All right. But, I talk about Georgia Stone Mountain Park, where, again, I'm going to be camping out here next month for the Great American Campout. They have a beautiful 4th of July fireworks display. The only problem you're going to run into with places like Stone Mountain, the park itself is a very big attraction in this area. And especially during the holiday, some folks are going to be coming to the park just for the purpose of seeing the laser and fireworks celebration. And there are going to be lines and lines of people on the interstate just trying to get into the park. The park has 2 entrances, an east side and a west side entrance. And some folks will be sitting in line for hours just waiting to get inside the park for the purpose of seeing the fireworks show. If you want to try to avoid that also, folks, if you're going to be out and about, find out, first of all, where the firework displays are going to be taking place at. And you want to allow yourself adequate time to get there. If you're going to be handling fireworks, whether at home, whether at a friend's house, or somewhere where you can, number one, legally own them and legally set them off, you want to be very careful about that, folks. Fireworks and alcohol, first of all, don't mix. We all know that. And this time of the year, regardless of what your intentions and how safe you plan to be, emergency rooms are going to see an increase in the number of firework-related injuries. You're going to have people coming into the emergency room with a couple less fingers than they had an hour or 2 earlier. This does happen, and a lot of times it's because of carelessness. If you want some information on fireworks safety, I've got a link on our homepage at happycamperradio.com. Go there right now. It's under Skip's Corner in the link section, and there's some real useful safety tips provided for you with regard to fireworks safety. Hey, one other thing I want to point out, too. If you own pets, keep them indoors on the 4th of July, especially in the evening hours, anytime that there are fireworks being set off. You know and I know pets don't adapt very well to loud noises, and they become frightened. If they're running loose outside, they can run away, they can go into hiding, and as a result, this time of year, a lot of pets unfortunately wind up in shelters because they lose their track, they lose their sense about where they are, they're trying to get away, they run away, and we don't want that to happen to anybody's pets. So if you own a pet, a dog or a cat, I would highly encourage you to keep them at home and keep them indoors on the 4th of July, especially in the evening hours when a lot of folks most likely will be around home and be setting off fireworks. They're going to be exposed to a lot of these loud noises. Our pets really just don't want to be around. So again, go to happycamperradio.com for a lot of safety tips on fireworks. You'll find them right there. It's time now for our featured Campground of the Week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. Yep. Aha. Okay, this week we are going to go to the state of Pennsylvania, my home state, to Tracy Ridge, and Tracy Ridge is not very far from Bradford, Pennsylvania. It is very beautiful. The greenery, the weather, everything is perfect this time of year. In the wintertime, well, I don't want to talk about that because I have lived not very far from this location. It's about 15 miles away from Bradford, Pennsylvania, and only 5 miles away from the beautiful Allegheny Reservoir. Hikers will enjoy exploring the 33-mile Tracy Ridge Trail System. Check it out. It's on our webpage all week long at happycamperradio.com under the link section. The Allegheny National Forest covers nearly 500,000 acres and is populated primarily with black cherry, maple, and other hardwoods. The Kinzua Dam, which was built in 1965, impounds the Allegheny River to form a 25-mile-long Allegheny Reservoir. Check out the activities and amenities that are available on their website. They have fishing, boating, lake access, and if you're an angler, you definitely want to bring your fishing pole along with you. Anglers can cast for trophy trout, walleye, northern pike, and muskie. Just do your research ahead of time to find out what your licensing requirements are if you plan to go fishing. A couple other things to know before you go. Some sites are available on a first-come, first-served basis, and pets must be on a leash. They cannot be left unattended at their campsite, and dogs are not allowed on the beach either. Clean up after your pets while you're there. Don't move firewood. Purchase all your firewood locally. Great place to go camping this time of year. It's Tracy Ridge, Pennsylvania, and it is our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. And, of course, if you have a campground that you would like for us to feature on the program, by all means, get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com. And don't forget to send a link to the campground website. Well, folks, that's about all the time I have for this week's show. Enjoyed having you around. Don't forget, if you plan on camping this next weekend for the 4th of July, again, allow yourself plenty of time to get to your camping destination. Hey, I want to remind everybody that every animal deserves a loving home. Visit your local shelter and adopt a pet today. Hey, don't forget you can catch us online anytime at www.happycamperradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker, add us to circles on Google+, and now subscribe to our brand new YouTube channel. The Happy Camper Radio Show is a presentation of Skip Huber Productions. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper, and no question about it, my friends, I'm going to do my very best to make a happy camper out of you. We'll catch you next week. Have a good one, everybody. This is Happy Camper Radio.